They have survived the toughest week of their lives.
But I must remind you of one thing. Many of you are not going to hell. You are assured, such as Brother Yoder that's got the pizza dripping off his chin, of going to heaven because, gentlemen, you have already spent 1 week in hell.
They are smoke divers. No better trained firefighters exist in Georgia, maybe in the country. And with that accomplishment comes a newfound confidence in themselves and newfound friendships with those who endured the training.
It's something that I know he can use if he ever has to go back in the burn building like he did today. 3 times. He had a little accident while he was in there.
All I got to say is this, just my size.
This is the way it was that Friday, the beer, the cheers, and the pizza, when it was over and they had made it. During the week before, they had been asked, in that certain way that teases and motivates at the same time, to shout what they wanted to be. And now they could shout and tell the world what they were.
All right, instructors only. This is for the new students. What's a good word? Smoker! Put it down!
The 20 men who completed the smoke divers course paid dearly for the right to shout between gulps of beer and bites of pizza. They paid with skinned knees, aching muscles, scorched lungs, and fear. There was less bravado in those shouts on that first day at the Georgia Fire Academy.
What's the word?
The smoke diver!
All right, safety man, you can let me hear it too.
Smoke diver!
The people who come to the week-long smoke divers course at the State Fire Academy in Marietta are already firefighters, but they are looking for more. As the Army recruit who signs up for Ranger training because he wants to be all that he can be, these firefighters are not satisfied with the basics. They volunteered to come here, some on their own time, to hone their firefighting abilities to better themselves. They are tested.
We call it the psychological and the physiological parts of it, and we stress both of those. They got to get their minds right, just like they got to get their bodies in condition.
When I ask you for the good word, I want to hear smoke diver, and I want to hear it like you mean it.
Start again.
By the end of the week, you'll have earned it.
Perhaps it is coincidental that Nish Willis, the only woman smoke diver instructor, is in charge of the physical training. But the effect of this tiny woman bellowing challenges to this all-male contingent of a macho profession is unsettling and maybe even a bit infuriating. Do not make the mistake that some of these students did. She is here, as are all the other instructors, because she went through the same course. She is a smoke diver.
I'm proud of being a smoke diver. It was a great accomplishment for me. I thought that I really physically couldn't do a lot of things, and that I did. And now I think that if anyone needed me inside a building, I could go get them. I want these fellas to feel the same pride that I feel and also learn as much as I did.
Well, it's a little worse than I expected, I suppose.
In what regard?
It's a little more strenuous than what I'd been preparing for.
These students find out right away what kind of shape they are in. Some are in good shape.
Hang it up, baby. You got it. You got it.
And some are not.
You can do it! Come on, you can do it. Go ahead, Long. You got it. You got it. Pull yourself up.
They will all be pushed to their limits, some beyond what they think their limits are. The instructors have no illusions about getting these students into shape in 1 week. This emphasis on physical training has other objectives. To show these men how important conditioning is, in the hopes of getting them and their home fire stations into an exercise routine. To show these men that with the right attitudes, they can push their bodies to do more than they thought they could do. And to engender a sense of camaraderie.
I guess for the ones that had never been to boot camp in the service, this is about as close as they'll ever come, and we do put a lot of emphasis on esprit de corps, that no one person can do any of these jobs by themselves. They've got to get together themselves, and they help each other, encourage each other, and get the job done.
Let's go, 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 go!
This first day, there are 21 of them. They come from the fire departments of Hall County, Rockmart, Clark County, Dawson, Atlanta, and others. The youngest among them is 19. The oldest is 32. And they are learning this first day that they need each other. Alexander, Cooper, Roberts, Towns, Rio, Williams. They face physical and psychological barriers unlike any they've ever encountered. For the rest of this week, you will see them strive to become smoke divers as they undergo their baptism by fire. On special assignment, Mark Picard, Action News. Though most of the smoke diver training is directly related to fighting fires, part of each day is devoted to exercise. Make them sweat, get them tired, make them aware of their physical capabilities and liabilities.
Come on, get up, get up.
That will be on their minds later on when they must call up strength and resolve they didn't know they had.
The worst thing that panic does is it clouds your judgment. During the rest of the week, we'll put you in some situations that could cause panic if you didn't keep you cool. Now, we've had a couple of guys stick their heads through the glass windows up in the burn building because they thought it was near the time to meet the maker.
There are a few hours of classroom study where the trainees are taught the philosophy of the smoke diver course, where they learn about the breathing apparatus and other equipment and the dangers of smoke and gases. But mostly they are put in situations which will prepare them for fighting fires in the real world.
Well, really, we're checking people for claustrophobia, for the panic factor. We try to create a lot of confusion, and we push them through their masks outside running and calisthenics and stuff, and so that we can get them to their breaking point without having to do it all in smoke. That way it's a lot safer. This is a highly psychological course. When you're in a burning building or something like that, panic sets in real easy, and we want to teach them not to panic, stay calm so they can save their own lives.
The maze. In more sinister hands, it could easily be considered an instrument of torture. In Instructor Gene Nelson's hands, it could easily be considered an instrument of torture. The trainees will negotiate the maze a number of times this week. This time there is no smoke, but there is water. And while the trainees are not breathing off their air tanks, they are wearing their apparatus, with their masks taped so they cannot see. The maze takes its toll.
I feel it's an unrealistic firefighting exercise. It is a good training exercise to harass the hell out of you.
If your mind lapses just for a minute, you could just be lost. And, you know, if you get lost, then there's no telling what might happen. So the concentration is very deep.
If you have claustrophobia, you notice you get kind of trapped. You can't go up, you can't go to the right or to the left, or you can't go forward. And it's like everything just closing in on you. I sure will be glad when Friday gets here.
Then there is the barrel drill. Rows of empty drums are lined up in a field with a makeshift gate at the end. With masks taped once again, pairs of trainees try to crawl from barrel to barrel in a straight line through the gate and back down the row.
Go this way, go to your left.
There is banging and confusion and even some subterfuge. And through it, the two men try to communicate, though they cannot see and can hardly hear.
Come on back here then, follow my voice. We'll try it again so we don't get too screwed up.
While this exercise may appear only to be a diversion for sadists, it does have its purpose. It simulates conditions in a warehouse fire, with an ample dose of psychological harassment thrown in for good measure.
We've got 5 different lines. We have from 200 to 500 foot on one line. They're all crossed up and everything. They have to follow the same line. You have to keep a hand on it. If you don't keep your calm, your coolness, you're liable to, turn loose, get hold of the wrong line, and then you blow it. You have to come back out and start again.
It's called 5 evolutions. With about a 30-minute supply of air, these trainees go into the burn building. It is thick with smoke and red hot. 5 hoses snake out from one connection. Each one leads to a different exit. The object? In order, follow each hose to the proper exit without running out of air. Sound easy?
Now you have to go gag.
Got to what?
Go gag, come on.
Okay, well, go gag and come on back then.
It's like a pile of spaghetti in there. If you ever took your hand off, one of the hose you were on, you'd be lost just completely.
You were right back just about where you was when we started at 9:30, you know that?
Let's go. Get it, Mr. Leggett. In the window. Let's go. Take a look at Rob, man. You got to check on Rob. Come on. You got to check on Rob.
dark, smoky, and hot. Tired.
I was almost there. And hell, I bet I went 3 foot, 4 damn yards from the window. Okay. I started down.
Of the 21 men who volunteered for smoke divers, 20 made it to 5 evolutions. 1 went back to Cobb County. Whether motivated by pride or fear, all 20 made it this day. As Hercules completed his 12 labors to soothe the ire of a Greek goddess, so these men moved from task to task, pushing themselves further than they ever have gone for a T-shirt and a patch and the right to be called a smoke diver. But before they earned that right, there are 3 labors yet to be performed, and they would give Hercules pause. That's tomorrow. On special assignment, Mark Picard, Action News.
Just want to get done.
I psyched myself up and I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. Made it 4 days. Got to get this one.
I believe I can make it. I'd have made it all the way, and so no problem.
Through the taste of the sweat and the smoke, they can taste the end. But it is just beyond reach. This whole week has unfolded before these men, twisting and torturous, like a maze. And it is the maze they must negotiate again.
If I send you to the 3rd floor, you'll be breathing off your regulator. If I send you to the 4th floor, you'll be buddy breathing.
The breathing apparatus is the firefighter's lifeline. Without it, a firefighter is subject to the smoke and gases in a fire that can kill. Learning to use the breathing apparatus under combat conditions, learning to share the breathing apparatus in a tight situation is what this exercise is all about.
This is one thing we find out, whether or not you can work as a team. Because if somebody gets selfish, the other person does without. And if you have to do without air, you're ready to kill.
Those trainees who go to the 3rd floor will have to breathe off their regulators without the benefit of mask or hose.
Cooper, coming in!
Those who go to the 4th floor will go in pairs, and they will buddy breathe. That means one will have air and one will not. And the one who will not will have to eat smoke. Hall County firefighters Norman Alexander and Art Miller paired up this day, Miller with the air, Alexander without. The voice you will hear will be Alexander's as he crawls through the smoke-filled maze, staying real close to his partner's air supply.
You're doing good, Art. Keep it up. Feel that wall. You gotta get me out of here. Wait a minute, back up a little bit. Let me have some air before you go through. Go! All right, let me have some air. Art, we gotta make some time, bud. You done a fine job, Art. Turn mine back on, please. Oh, I didn't know air felt so good.
They shout now not out of false bravado, but out of a belief that they are in fact good enough to become smoke divers. Though they've cut it this far, they are not allowed to sit on their laurels. There is more yet to do.
And everybody just wants to stay right there in their own little space and start screaming, what? Send me this, send me that. If you can't figure out what's going on, move up the line and find out what you need and then go back and start doing it.
Instructors critique the trainees after a fire attack. That's where attack teams enter the burn building, search for victims, and put out the fire. The instructors look for organization and teamwork. Robert Crow from Rockdale County is the attack team leader. As the team dives into the smoke and heat of the burn building, Crow takes charge and begins the search for the victim, a dummy hidden by the instructors.
All right, I got the dummy right here. Dennis, take him to the window. I need a man to go with me on the nozzle. Stay low. Heat, stay low. I need some line, Dennis, need some line. Good job, man, good job. Let's get out of here, the heat's getting hot. I go my bail. I'm running out of air.
It is down to this, the last labor on the last part of the last day. Each of the 20 men will have 1 tank of air, between 15 to 30 minutes depending upon size of man and amount of exertion. They will go through 2 mazes and then back to the burn building for a special kind of search. But for now, there's nothing left to do except...
Go! Let's go, let's hear, let's go, man! All right!
They are sore and tired, but it is suck 'em up time. Get it over with any way you can, as fast as you can. But something's not quite right. Many of the would-be smoke divers are making mistakes in the mazes, mistakes that will cost them dearly in the burn building.
When you try to go in not using as little air as you can, and they're using too much air, and to me, it's staying in there a little bit too long, so there's going to be a lot of them going up to the house up here without air.
Well, what does that mean when you say they're going up to the house without air?
They're going to have to go through there, through all 3 floors and out without any air, just breathing on their own with no air in the bottles.
And now begins the smoke diver's equivalent of the quest for the Holy Grail, a large bolt adorned with nuts and washers. After conquering the 2 mazes, the firefighters come to the burn building and must search through the smoke and the heat for the appropriate nuts or washers, put them on the bolt, and present it to the instructors. If all the nuts and washers are there, in order, then this man is a smoke diver.
You gotta find this one.
He's missing another one too.
You're missing this one. Little red one. Go back up.
Check the air, dear, see if you got enough air to make it.
You got 2,000 pounds, you all right. You're missing one, Yoder. You're missing this little one. Missing one. Got all but those 3. You need one more of this one and this one. You can do it.
They have to do it. If they don't, they are not smoke divers. They must go back and find what they missed with whatever air they have left. And if the bell on their air tank is ringing, they have no air. The prospect of going back in is not easy to take.
But just go real slow, move it. If you have to sit on your rear end, do that, okay? And just take your time. Just think about that piece and cold beer.
Before they descend into the inferno, the trainees check with the instructors on the roof to show them how much air they have left.
Whoa, 2,200.
In this way, the instructors can keep track of how much air the men use, for if they bail out, they can start over with the same amount of air they had when they finished the mazes. And then it begins. Some come bounding out the door, some crawl, but they make it to the checkpoint on their feet to hear what they've been waiting to hear all week.
You got it.
Get it.
You smoke diver.
All right. Just sheer hell. It's the worst punishment I believe I've ever taken. It gives me a lot more confidence in performing my job and protecting the people that we're paid to do.
I found out how much my body can take. It can't take too much.
Now that you're a smoke diver, what does it make you feel like?
I feel like a first-class firefighter.
In the middle of the week, this thing just kept coming to my mind to quit. I said, no, I can't quit. I got to do it. So I got to do it.
How does it feel to be a smoke diver?
Fantastic. It's the best feeling in the world.
Okay, what's the good word?
Smoke diver!
They are finished. They have made it. They have survived the toughest week of their lives. They have gone through hell to earn a patch and a t-shirt. But they take with them so much more than that. They take with them a greater confidence in their abilities, a greater knowledge of themselves, a greater sense of teamwork. They have survived their baptism by fire. They are smoke divers.
Pull your line back on stand,
On special assignment, Mark Picard, Action News.
Stay low. Stay low. He's still in.